Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone, right here. Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. Kenneth Valenzuela, Adam Ronis with you. You know the drill by now. With you for the next 2 hours, breaking down everything again that we saw in Week 12, talking through the utilization report, the most chopped players in guillotine leagues. Adam, how you doing? How's it going? I got chopped in guillotine leagues.
Did you? Why is that?
Lamar. I had a good team, too. I had Lamar. I had Derrick Henry. I had CeeDee Lamb. Just wasn't my day.
Paying up for those quarterbacks really worked out, right?
Ooh, that's a nice. No, I had him for a while, actually.
Yeah.
Stir the pot this early in the morning. What are you doing?
I mean, you survived last week with his no touchdowns, too?
Yeah. Can't remember who I had last week. Who went off last week?
Josh Allen.
Okay, I didn't have him. Yeah, I don't know how I survived that, to be totally honest with you. All right,
Well,
Rico,
it was inevitable. It was going to happen.
Devontae Smith, whatever.
No, I'm saying with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant because of me.
No.
Yeah, Lamar, what are we doing? I'm going to be curious. That has to be, I know that we're going through the most chopped guillotine league players, and it's your turn to kind of guess, but that has to be, he has to be on the list for the second week in a row.
I'm not sure about that.
Really?
You know what?
If you have Lamar Jackson, you weren't going to play him?
I didn't go through yet. I could see that. I mean, guillotine leagues were down to like, what, 7, 8 teams? I mean, it's a possibility that someone made it that far without Lamar.
Didn't go with Lamar? Okay.
Yeah, I could see that.
Well, that wasn't.
There was a lot of down performers, though, this week. So that's the other reason, too.
There's going to be a lot of good people. Well, we're into that part of the year where if you are playing in guillotine leagues and you do get chopped right now, you've got a loaded team. And so, yeah, you're right. A lot of good guys are going to be going onto waivers, and we're going to talk about the most chopped guillotine league players here in the second half of the show. We had, I won in GST though, by the way. Oh, that was a sweat though. Rico Dowdle, what are we doing? Thought he was going to have a big day, but yeah, it was basically Christian McCaffrey. He really helped San Francisco overcome Brock Purdy's early interceptions, and then they went all the way down. They won this one 20-9 against the Carolina Panthers. And basically, yeah, Brock Purdy struggled in this one. CMC was the do-it-all guy. He topped 100 yards from scrimmage for the 10th time this season, and he helped lead this team 89 yards rushing, 53 yards receiving, and yeah, it was basically his day. He looked pretty happy facing his former team.
Yeah, Carolina barely had the ball in this one. They only ran 43 plays. The 49ers took like half the first quarter on their first drive. So I knew it was going to be a tough day. I was like, oh boy, they're just going to churn the clock and leave little possessions for Carolina. And then Purdy just kept turning it over. McCaffrey had 31 touches in this game.
Insane.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, they were trying to limit his usage on the ground. And I think against this former team, they said, all right, we'll just give him a big workload. Because he only had 12 and 13 carries the last 2 games. So they were starting to be a little conscious of his workload. But I think in this one, especially since it stayed competitive, they just fed him the football. Because we saw Brian Robinson have 7 more carries. And we talked about it yesterday, how he's been getting, around 8 carries every single game. They've been mixing it in. So, but yeah, they had the ball a lot in this one. And even though Purdy tried to give it away so many times.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, we've seen games like this from Purdy. He came back his first game, he was good, but we've seen this throughout his career. He will have games where he just turns it over. And even this year, when you look at it, he's got 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, 23 of 32 for 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, could have been 4. It was just a brutal day. It was kind of a turn for both of these quarterbacks because this is also a week after Bryce Young was coming off 448 yards against Atlanta, and that was a franchise record. And then you look around and it's just, man, they can have some low lows. Like right when you think that this team could be peaking to as much as Carolina could be peaking right now, you turn around and you have a game like this where you say, wow, what happened here? Because he had 1 touchdown pass to Tedero McMillan, and that was really the only explosive play of the game that we saw. And it was nice because Tedero McMillan was getting the targets. He just couldn't come down with any of them. So Bryce Young, 18 of 29, passing for 169 yards. He had a 60.8 passer rating. It was just a down game overall for Carolina. Brutal.
Yeah, that first interception was awful. First and goal from the 1, you run a play action. If he would have thrown it immediately, he had a guy wide open. And if not, he could have ran it in. Instead, he throws an interception. So just when you're ready to say, okay, we're going to get a strong second half finish from Bryce Young like last
Wrong.
year. Nope, he looks brutal. And again, they didn't even get to establish a running game in this. I mean, Regal Dowdle only had 6 carries.
Yeah, for
So
38 yards.
he was their leading receiver, 4 for 36.
And it didn't feel like that in the game either. Did it feel like that for you? Because at some point I was looking around saying, what is Chuba Hubbard doing out here for all this time? But Chuba Hubbard only had 3 carries for 16 yards, and then he had 4 receptions for 27 yards as well. Wasn't good.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. You know, you expect way more volume. But again, they only ran 43 plays. It was the
Yep.
49ers putting together these long drives, and the Panthers just couldn't sustain offense in this one. So, yeah, pretty bad performance. And considering the injuries the 49ers have on defense and how poor they've played, this was a disappointing performance for Carolina with an opportunity to take over first place in a crappy division, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, they couldn't do it. George Kittle was still getting his targets, right? That's something that we've been talking about here. He had 10 targets on the day, 6 receptions for 78 yards. Of course, Christian McCaffrey had the 7 receptions for 53. Juwan Jennings, I don't think he's going to get suspended, but he had a little bit of a scuffle, or maybe he's going to get fined after the
But
game.
did you see what led up to it?
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
sure
He
did.
got
So
punched
what do
in
you
the
think?
junk.
What do you think they're going to do?
Uh,
He just gets a fine then, right?
Probably,
There's
yeah.
no suspension. I haven't read anything about a suspension or anything, but yeah, Juwan Jennings. You're so funny.
What?
7 times.
That's
It's
what
so
happened.
early. It's
Some
so
people didn't
early
see
right
it.
now. I can't even. I couldn't even process what you just said, and then all of a sudden I was like, "What's going on?" 7 targets for 5 receptions. He had the touchdown as well, and then Ricky Pearsall, a little disappointing on that one. Only 4 targets in this game, 2 receptions. I saw some people ask if he's just not startable anymore, if we should be looking somewhere else for Pearsall. So again, he had a really quiet day. I will say that the Panthers rely a lot on zone coverage, and so when you look at Ricky Pearsall's production, he's been much stronger against man coverage. So I think as the weeks go on, he should be in line and have better days. But I understand if people look at Ricky Pearsall, I don't know if many. Well, it probably flexing in some of those deeper formats is what you had to do. But I understand being disappointed in this one.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, he's played a lot of snaps, since
Yeah.
he came back. I mean, only Jennings played more snaps than a receiver, so he's been on the field. It's just the other factor that you do have to take into account is we have seen when they are like healthy with these guys, with Kittle and Jennings there, Pearsall hasn't commanded as many targets. A lot of his production early in there, you had no Kittle, you had no Jennings. So that opened it up. And now with those guys back, and especially with them focusing so much on the run, it's going to be difficult, I think, for Pearsall to be consistent. So, yeah, I did start him in a couple leagues, and I don't know if I can next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be well. They take on the Browns, traveling to Cleveland, so
Dan
we'll
McCaffrey
see.
might have 100 yards receiving. I don't know if they're going to do much on the ground.
They go there and then they take on the Tennessee Titans at home, and that's the first week of the fantasy football playoffs for most. When we say that, we're really referencing week 15. So it's week 15 against the Titans, week 16 against the Colts, and week 17 against the Bears. So again, this is the team that had, and then they finish things off against the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to be a big game. It's going to be an interesting run out for San Francisco, third in the NFC West right now, but they've had, like we said before, coming into the season, they had the easiest strength of schedule going up against all these teams. So that's not a bad run out for the last 5 games of the season for them. So we'll see what they do with it. We just want
Yeah,
fantasy points. That's all.
yeah, we
That's
need
it.
Purdy to stop turning it over. That would help.
That would help a lot. Anything else in this game that we missed? Anything else you want to talk about? I didn't have
No,
much from this one. It was pretty.
yeah,
It was
it
pretty
was
boring.
actually a very uninspiring game. It's like
Yeah,
you were
you
just
hoped for more.
you were just watching mistake after mistake. I think we
Yeah.
expected it to be more scoring and more from the Panthers offense. I mean, McMillan did come through with the touchdown, but 2 for 35 on 7 targets. Again, it's Bryce Young is just holding him back from having an even better season. Again, fantasy wise, he's had a solid season, but it could be even better. And Bryce Young is definitely holding him back.
They played against the Saints week 15 on the road, and then they're home against Tampa Bay. So at least those are two nicer matchups when we talk about the fantasy playoffs. And then they're at home against the Seahawks week 17. So not necessarily the best with that Seattle Seahawks defense, but at least for 2 weeks, you can be happy with, hopefully happy with their performances, Adam, or at least the guys that they're matched up against.
Does Seattle play anyone good the rest of the way? It feels like they gotta. No, I know they play the
Let
Rams
me.
and the
They
Niners.
play the
Right?
Rams and the Niners.
Yeah, they just played
they
the
have the
Titans.
Vikings.
They get the
They have
Vikings this week.
weekend. The Colts. We'll see what kind of Colts team we get in 2 weeks, but that's the start of the play. That's week 15, and then before that, they face the Falcons. 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, Falcons, Colts, Rams, Panthers, 49ers. That's their
Okay, so they get the Rams in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did move the ball on them, so. Oh, that's and that's a Thursday game too.
Ooh, December 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. No, I'm not going to be home by then. That would be a fun game to go to, though.
Yeah, it would. On a Thursday, Thursday games are always good to go to. You don't have to worry about any other action.
We don't miss any island game that we can go to. Sunday night football. I think you've done a Sunday night football game before.
I have, yeah. It was week one,
Mondays,
2 years ago.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a game. Well, no, it's week 18, I guess.
Yeah, week 18.
Is that going to have any ramifications?
I mean, I doubt it, unless Dallas wins out or loses one.
I mean,
but
listen,
I
you
doubt
have to be happy with how they've played so far this season. Like, I know your expectations were low, but I mean, that game last week or a couple days ago was really good against the Eagles.
Yeah, the Cowboys have played pretty good this year. I mean, again, they are still 500, but considering everything that's happened, yeah, beating Philadelphia is nice. So we'll see if they can somehow beat the Chiefs this week. Then that would be.
Hey, that would be fun. We've got good Thanksgiving games. Usually there's always like a little bit of a dud in there. And, as I say this, come Thursday, maybe someone doesn't show up and we say, oh, okay, never mind. But I mean, Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals with Joe Burrow back. And hopefully, I mean, Lamar Jackson's injured again. So something that we're just going to expect week in and week out, I think, the rest of the way. But that's Bengals against the Ravens. That's a pretty good Thanksgiving schedule.
No, it is. And especially with Joe Burrow likely returning, that just makes it more intriguing. People will want to watch. And Lamar Jackson, definitely concerned with him with the way he has played the last few weeks since he returned. It's funny because that first game he came back, he threw 4 touchdowns against Miami. And then ever since then, it's been a struggle.
He missed a walkthrough yesterday with the toe injury.
He doesn't like to practice.
Well, remember last week, Harbaugh said, hey, this is probably going to happen for the next couple of weeks. And it did happen last week where we said, okay, is he really super injured? And he said, no, he's just not going to practice today. He'll be a full participant the next day and he'll be able to play. So this is kind of in line with what we've seen. But we were talking before the show. And again, Guillotine Leagues is a totally different format. But if you have Lamar Jackson right now, you said this yesterday, if he can't get it done against the Cincinnati Bengals, how far are we going to have to drop him? Because you cannot be relying on a quarterback that's getting you 7.22 fantasy points when we're just 2 weeks away from the fantasy playoffs. And he's not the Lamar Jackson we know and love, right? It's not the rushing upside dual threat quarterback. His numbers, when we're looking at just him on the ground, he's run the ball just 46 times for 237 yards, 1 touchdown through 8 games this season. And his totals are just, I mean, he has an average right now of 29.6 rushing yards per game. His average before, he never averaged in his career less than 50 rushing yards per start in any season of his career. So this is a really down couple of weeks for Lamar Jackson. You have to be concerned.
Yeah, they keep adding a new injury. This week it's a toe.
Yeah, and it's all different.
Yeah, every week it's something different. And it's really him not running. And when he does try to run, you don't see any burst at all. So I think we all believe that he's still bothered by this injury. He's trying to fight through it. And it's clearly affecting his numbers. I mean, no touchdowns the last 2 weeks. So like I said, if he can't get it done against Cincinnati this week, then I think you probably have to go in a different direction. If you have him, you're probably giving him one more shot.
And when I have my rankings, I can't rank him lower than 4. To be totally honest with you, even with what we've seen, and that's with Jalen Hurts ahead of him going up against Chicago, and I could maybe put Lamar Jackson at QB3. That's just against the Bengals. I can't find myself putting, Drake May ahead of him. I have Drake May QB5 this week going up against New York Giants.
Drake May, they have a couple of key injuries on the offensive line, and he's had 2 down mediocre. I mean, the passing yards have been there. He's had 294 and 281, 1 passing touchdown in each of the last 2 games. Again, he's been great this year, so it's tough to be too critical. He did rush for 22 yards last week, but yeah, two of his more down games that we've seen in recent weeks, but you're still playing him.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I've got Joe Burrow, and I might move him up. I'm trying to be cautious. QB 11. QB 11 against the Ravens. Doesn't feel right having him that low.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest concern is how does he look, but if he's fine, I mean, they won't have T. Higgins, as I said. He was officially ruled out. You questioned my judgment yesterday.
I didn't question it.
Yeah,
I
you
just
did.
said it wasn't confirmed yet. So I was trying to give the people correct information.
You knew he
to
wasn't
question.
playing. Come on.
Yeah, but you still can't say it yet. We said he might be out. That's what we said.
Okay, he's out now.
Yeah, he is out now. You were correct in that one. Yeah. So that's where I'm going to have him this weekend. Might move him. Again, our rankings are live at fantasylife.com if you guys want to go and check those out. We got to continue on though, Adam. We get to talk with the one and only Dwain McFarland utilization report. That article is also live 100% free as well at fantasylife.com. He's tweeted it out already as well at Dwain McFarland over there on X. So make sure you go give him a follow as well. We're talking through the utilization report coming up here next. It is about that time heading into week 13 already. That's insane. Dwain McFarland is here. He did crunch the numbers for you. You've got the utilization report live because of that at fantasylife.com. Dwain, how you doing? How's it going?
I'm good. I'm trying to secure a recipe for a key lime pie, based on our conversations during the break.
Got it.
Because my son Landry, yes, named after Tom Landry. Duh.
I was going to ask that, but I figured
he loves key lime pie. And it was his birthday last week, Kendall. So now I won't try to make this. I would ruin it, but my wife is very good at making key lime pie.
Well, hey, wait, share that recipe when you get it. Share that recipe when you get it if you can. Key lime pie. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Adam doesn't like key lime pie.
No.
He likes any.
I'm not a huge key lime pie guy either.
What are you, pumpkin? Full pumpkin send mode? Is that what you like?
Pumpkin's okay, but I prefer like cobblers and things like that more than pies. If I'm gonna go with a pie, I like pecan pie, like if it's done right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But I love like a blackberry cobbler. An apple cobbler or an apple pie is also good, Kendall. Come on. It's Thanksgiving. There's a lot of really good things that are just around the corner for us.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Look at this transition, Dwain. A lot of good stuff going on at fantasylife.com as well. So you can go there, find the utilization report. Okay, so you said that your son was named, Landry. We all know. So can I like George Pickens? What are we? Is the next dog like a cat? What are we doing? Because George Pickens looks really good, Dwain. And so for this Cowboys team, Adam and I have been talking about this for the last couple of weeks of what they're going to do in the offseason. If it's going to be a franchise tag situation, that's set, I think, around 26, 28 million. But just how good has he been with this Cowboys team this year?
Look, he's been amazing, but it's one of these situations when I look at it, Kendall, and I wrote this in the utilization report, but sometimes in life we just need a change of scenery.
Exactly.
Not every role, not every job is right for everyone. We've all got strengths and weaknesses. We have to find like our spot. We have to find that sweet spot, Kendall, where our passion, our talent, like meets with what, our company or the marketplace needs. And like George Pickens has found his sweet spot. Like he got out of a place that wanted to be a run first offense that, didn't really have a very good quarterback. Now he's landed in an offense that's much more willing to throw the ball more. Obviously the defense hasn't been very good until recent weeks, which helps that. He's with a good quarterback, and man, they're just using him all over the field, Kendall, is the really big thing. Like when you look at him this year and you look at Pickens, his catchable target rate, it's up 25% versus last year. So that'll make you happy when the targets you're getting are actually more catchable. And then if you look at what he's done as far as the targets in the end zone, he ranks second behind only Devontae Adams. So getting those opportunities down in the red and green zone. So those are all great things. Look, last year, he ranked 38th, Kendall, in fantasy points per game at 12.3. He had the 23rd ranked utilization score at a 73. This year, he ranks third in fantasy points per game in PPR, and he's sixth in utilization score. So with an 85. So yeah, he's balling. Look, 41% of his comparisons were top 6 wide receivers. 47% of his comparisons were wide receiver 12. It's wide receiver 7 to 12. Wide receiver 13 to 18 were the rest of them. So you have a low-end wide receiver 1, maybe a mid-range wide receiver 1. I don't know. Ronis, what are you doing? Like, are you the point where you're just moving him past Lamb? I haven't done that. I'm just like, hey, I like them both. Like, you're starting them.
No, yeah, I actually have moved them past Lamb, but they're very close. I mean, Lamb is still getting the targets. Yeah, yes, he's had some drops, but Pickens is just getting more deep passes too and catching them. I mean, he's just been
Well, and just after the catch, he's been a monster.
It's
I mean,
so yeah. Look, people bicker with overall rankings sometimes, like with the 6th and 8th player. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Achane should be. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like,
Once you're up there, that just
Right?
means you're starting them.
but people will
Exactly.
comment on those things. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're both obviously every week starts
Yeah.
and very close to each other.
We could have the rare season though, Ronis, where we get 2 top 12 wide receivers from the same team, in fantasy points per game. Lamb probably won't get there on like overall points because of the injury, but points per game by the end of the year, like that could happen.
And Pickens was a steal in drafts. I was always surprised
yeah.
of how low he went. I have him in a few leagues. I'm pretty sure you do too. You were high on him, right?
I got him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. In that range, I was drafting 2 players, and I pretty much split it, and it was Pickens and JMO.
Yeah.
So one of them worked out really well. One
Right.
of them, some weeks good, other weeks a donut.
And when you play in so many leagues, which I know you do, you are going to have
You have to mix it up.
variations. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Bears running back situation because I don't even know if there's a clear-cut answer here. We all saw DeAndre Swift fumbled, and then we saw his usage go down, and Monangai became the main back. Is that a sign of things to come? Is it just he got punished? Like, what's your take, and what did you see in the utilization report?
Yeah, my take is what you just said. We don't know for sure, and it just cracks me up when people try to make stands on stuff like this. Like you're just talking to talk. Like if you think who's going to get this role coming out of, last weekend. To your point, he did have the fumble, and that was early in the game. It was on the 4th drive of the game for Swift, and the snaps for Monangai after that went from 39% to 63% for the rest of the game. He had 33% of the rushing attempts at that point. He then got 69%. His route participation had been at 44%. It bumped up to 50. So, I mean, look, Monangai, he had already, I think the positive for him, Ronis, is that he had already closed the gap on Swift. Really, he had moved into a 35-40% rush share, excluding the game where he had to start for Swift because Swift was out. But really over the last month, it's been a tighter split between those two guys. And the Bears are running the ball more, like all the way back to their bye week. They've got a -4% drop back rate over expected. So they really made some changes, coming out of the bye. But I think it's really hard to say like what this means. So I gave scenarios, Ronis, and then you can choose your own, path that you want to take. But scenario 1 is the backfield, returns to recent splits. I think that's the most likely thing. Actually, sorry. I think scenario 2 is the most likely thing, but scenario 1 is it's just like it was before. Swift's getting 55 to 60% of the work on the ground, and it was kind of like a slap on the wrist. Hey, dude, don't fumble the ball. But Swift has been good too, So it's like both players have had their strengths. It's not like either one is underperforming. But I think scenario 2 would be like the things tighten just a little bit more, where it's almost now more of a 1A, 1B, where maybe it's more like 55-45, or, even like 52-48, that kind of thing between these two guys, Ronis. And I think that the door for that could be open. And in that scenario, I think Monangai gets most of the carries inside the 5, but Swift still handles most of the passing down work. And then scenario 3, which is what really everyone wants to tell you on social media because people like it when you talk positively about rookies. Let's be honest, guys, here. Let's just call some balls and strikes. If you want to come out here and get a bunch of likes on a tweet, just say something positive about a rookie. If you want no one to like it, just don't say something positive about a rookie, even if it's true. But if you look at Monangai, like he could become that lead back. Even in that scenario, though, I think that DeAndre Swift still keeps the passing down role because he's really been good. So I'll say that it tightens up a little bit more, but because they run the ball so much, both guys are in that running back 3 territory for me, Ronis, moving forward.
Talking again with Dwain McFarland, utilization report live at fantasylife.com. Speaking of scenarios, Dwain, what's the scenario and what's the outlook for maybe Michael Wilson? Like when Marvin Harrison Jr. return, I know. So we haven't heard anything yet about a potential return this week. We kind of knew that it was going to be 2 games that he was out. Now he has the chance to return after that appendicitis, but I mean, Michael Wilson, are we going to still continue to start him, or is he someone that you downgrade immediately once Marvin comes back?
Oh my God. Michael Wilson. It's a really hard thing to figure out. So I put a
Yeah.
poll out on Twitter yesterday. I put, is Michael Wilson's 2-game breakout for real? 12% of people, we've got 2,466 votes. 12% of people said yes, he's a wide receiver 1.
Ooh.
He stunk his whole career. He's been on the field. He stunk. He's been out there running routes. No one knew he was good. No one knew he was open. No one knew it. Yeah, whatever. I'm not buying that one, and most people aren't. But yes, he's a wide receiver 2, came in second at 41%. And then there is, yes, it's a breakout, but it's a wide receiver 3, and that was 25%. And then there's the final bucket, which is no, it's variance. 22% of people said that. I think that actually the public's really sharp on this. I think that's just about right, Kendall. We can't say there's no chance of him becoming a wide receiver 1 because he has been really good, in these 2 games. However, I'll just say this. I did some research this offseason around breakout wide receivers. And so I went back to that and used that really for this write-up in the utilization report. But it's very rare for a year 3 wide receiver with their best previous finish being a wide receiver 5 in PPR points per game turning into a wide receiver 1. It does happen, though. We can never say never. 14% of the time. If we look at the breakouts, 4 of 28 have actually been from the bucket that Michael Wilson, sits in. But the majority of them that did break out at this point that looked like he did before were typically wide receiver 2s or 3s, not wide receiver 1s. So I'm leaning more into that than just the 2-game sample. And here's the reason why, Kendall. If you look at, see if you guys can guess who this player is, you or Ronis. Okay, if we look at weeks 5 and 6 of this year, there was a wide receiver that had a 91 utilization score and was averaging 21.7 fantasy points per game. He ranked 5th in both of those categories. Can you name this wide receiver?
I don't. I think I read it, so I don't.
You need more information. From week 7 to 11, Ronis, this player has averaged 4.8 fantasy points. So he averaged 21.7.
Oh, is it Kendrick Bourne?
Yes, it's Kendrick Bourne. Really good call. And so I put that example in there because, guys, weird things can happen in 2-game samples. Now, look, I get it. Michael Wilson, what he's done, he's averaging 27.7 fantasy points over the last 3 weeks. And somehow that ranks 3rd because of George Pickens and JSN, which is amazing. But 16 targets and 189 air yards per game over those. Crazy. So people see that. And I see it. We look at it, we're like, my God, how has this guy not been doing anything to this point in his career? But then you look, and this sort of thing happens, man. I know Kendrick Bourne's wasn't quite the same scale, but still 22 fantasy points per game. It's the same thing. Quentin Johnston. What did people think Quentin Johnston was after the first 4 games? They're like, oh my God, year 3 breakout. It's got small samples, man. So it's not to say it can't happen. But I think you at least have to acknowledge the fact that the low end range of outcomes for Michael Wilson, and everyone's going to be like, man, I've been grinding the film. He's awesome. Well, it's also just a chance this is luck. There really is a chance this is just variance. And you have to at least, account for that in your low end range of outcomes. So, Kendall, to answer after all of that, you're like, good God, just give me a freaking answer. I would say that if I was going to look at his upside case, I think it's wide receiver 2 territory once Marv's back. But I think most likely a borderline wide receiver 2, more like a wide receiver 3 would be where I would rank him. But I'll say this. I think there's a better chance that the breakout is not real and this is just variance than he's suddenly a wide receiver 1. And again, that's not to say there's no chance that he's a wide receiver 1. But what I'm telling you guys is if you're in a dynasty league and someone is willing to pay you like he is a wide receiver 1 because they just fell off their rocker and bumped their head, trade this man. Trade him away.
I know people are sick of hearing about this guy, Kenneth Walker, but there have been some encouraging signs. I wrote about it Sunday night. We talked about it yesterday. Yeah. What do you see from Kenneth Walker?
Yeah, good write out by you too. But yeah, looking at the utilization stuff. I mean, we've got a 3-week trend on the snaps: 41% to 51% to 64%. You guys know all how y'all all know how that works. That
Mhm.
means Clint Kubiak's going to give him 12% of the snaps this week. Just to level the playing field. But no, when we get these sort of trends like this, we have to pay attention. The attempts also have shot up 34 to 48 to 61%, Ronis. So if you look at Kenneth Walker over the last 2 games, he's averaging 14.1 fantasy points. He's got a utilization score of a 74 over that period. And if you look at his historical comparisons, assuming this trend were to continue, meaning Charbonnet still involved, but really Kenneth Walker in the larger role, the majority of them, have really been mid-range running back twos to low-end running back twos. And we've really been dealing with a running back three all year. So it's still not Kenneth Walker RB1 season, at least yet, unless that trend continues. But running back two, we'll take it. I just want to have enough of a split in this backfield, and I really don't care which way it goes, but that we know we can start one of them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for weeks it's been brutal where it's like you really didn't want to have either one of them in your lineup, Walker or Charbonnet. At least now I do think that Kenneth Walker is, right there in that low end running back two territories where I would put him for now.
They've kind of hit a bit of a stride too in the past few weeks, and that coincides with Kenneth Walker getting a little bit more. So this team could be, I'm biased. This team could get dangerous though if they really do hit their stride with the running backs, down the stretch here. Dwain, we appreciate it so much. Thanks for talking with us, not only about the utilization report, but also about key lime pie, because now I also got that recipe. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, look, everybody loves some good pie. So everybody
Exactly.
enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Make
you
sure
too.
to overeat. It's okay. You can work out on Friday or you can, fast on Friday. It's okay on Thursday.
There we
To
go.
just overdo it, Kendall. That's the name of the game on Thursday. Overdo it in all capacities.
Perfect. Dwain, have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Thanks. See you guys.
All right, again, that was the utilization report from Dwain McFarland. Make sure you go to fantasylife.com and make sure you know that new DraftKings Pick 6 customers play $5 plus on your first pick set. Get $50 in bonus picks. That's right. All you need to do is play $5 plus on your first entry, and you'll get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Don't miss your shot to ride the upside. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, get in on the action, and sign up using Dwain's promo code FANTASYLIFE. Thank you to DraftKings Pick 6 for always sponsoring this segment. We'll be back after this waiver wire names to know. Everyone's getting ready for this holiday season. I know you guys are getting busy. I am too, but I never want to skip a meal. So I'm really glad that I found Huel. In these drinks by Huel, you don't have to worry about the sugar. You don't have to be worried about if you're going to be hungry in the next 20 minutes. Their Be Ready to Drink shakes have 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no sugar added, gluten-free, and they're all $5 per meal, which is amazing. My favorite there is chocolate peanut butter. Also, Adam said he likes to, make broccoli, eat his vegetables. I think that's a lie. So when I look at him, I say, hey, go get the super greens drink as well. My favorite there is peach hibiscus, and it doesn't even taste like you're having a super greens drink. Those were developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians, 42 vitamins and minerals and superfoods, only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, only 1 gram of sugar as well. I know you all listening are getting really busy with the holiday season. Don't skip meals. Go look at Huel. They make healthy eating simple. They also just launched it in Target stores nationwide. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with my exclusive code FANTASYLIFE at www.huel.com/fantasylife. Use my code, fill out that post-checkout survey, help support the show. Go get Huel. Oh, you're listening to Fantasy Life right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Tuesday. Make sure you're sending in any questions you have at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X, and we will try and answer as many as we can get to today. Adam, it's another light waiver wire week, I will say that, but I think there could be a handful of running backs that might be out there for you, maybe some wide receivers as well. I think the guy at the top of every list, though, this week is going to be Devin Neal for the Saints, and we don't really know what kind of situation we're walking into with Devin Neal. We've said his name a lot. We've basically said the RB2 behind Alvin Kamara all season long. At first, it was Kendre Miller. Then he went down and was placed on IR for the season. He's done for the rest of the year. Devin Neal is this next guy up. Alvin Kamara suffered an MCL sprain in week 12. So his status, obviously, coming into week 13 is up in the air. They said it's not a long-term injury, but we have next man up mentality. And so Neal logged 73% snap share and route rates in week 12 once we saw Alvin Kamara go down. I think that there's not a lot of risk here, Adam, if we're going to be honest with you. If you have money left and you're spending your fab, this could be someone that we don't usually get a guy going into week 13 that could be the RB1 on his own team and get the volume that we like to see. So I think Devin Neal for me is going to be at the top of my list and probably the top of a lot of other people's lists as well.
Yeah, because it is not a good week once again.
No.
I have Neal in a couple leagues already. I've been holding on waiting, mostly because I just haven't liked what I've seen from Kamara. And we saw Kendre Miller early in the year cut into Kamara's workload. So we also talked about how there was a potential for Kamara to get shut down at some point.
Yeah.
And now with the injury, that opens the door. I guess there is a concern that you might see a little more Taysom Hill to take away from Neal. And also the offense isn't very good. But we did see Neal in the passing game catch a lot of passes. So, yeah, I think if he's available, you have to go get him. Because, again, it's very thin at the running back position. A lot of these backups are already rostered. So I would definitely be adding him.
The Saints kind of utilized Taysom Hill for more of the volume play. He turned 10 carries into only 17 yards, though. So, Neal, again, I mean, what are you risking really here, Adam? If he's not good for the next couple of weeks, I will say stay patient with him. Maybe we don't see it this week, but, keep him on your bench for 2 weeks. If he doesn't do anything, if there's someone else better that comes along on the waiver wire, then maybe he's the guy that you cut. I will also say, this is for really deep formats, Audric Estime, I'm expecting to be active for this week as well. I know that he wasn't going into week 12, but I think if you're in a really deep format and want to be early, Audric Estime would be the next guy up when we're talking about the running backs for this backfield. So he's another one. We mentioned Chris Rodriguez. I did a couple weeks ago. I want to mention him again, though, Adam, because people might have just forgotten about him, or because the Commanders were coming off their bye, someone might have dropped him. And so Chris Rodriguez, we have to remember week 11, took over the lead position with that three-way committee. It's not necessarily beautiful and amazing, but you will look at 47% of the rushing attempts and you'll say to yourself, okay, this is not bad. And I think I saw him dropped in a couple leagues that I'm playing in. Low end RB3. He's not this RB1. We just kind of know that it's a running back by committee approach there, but he's been the best out of the three that they have. So I'm looking at him available in 84% of leagues, and he's someone that I've picked up a lot.
Yeah, I've added him over the last couple weeks too, because it certainly looks like he is the main back. You're still going to see Ja'Cory Krosky, Merritt mixed in, and Jerry McNichols on passing downs. The one thing about Rodriguez, he's just not going to catch passes. He has one reception on the season, so that means he's touchdown dependent. But he's looked good, and 2 of the last 3 games, double-digit carries. He had the shoulder injury in the other one, and he has scored a touchdown in 2 of the last 3 games. So, yes, he should be added. Worst case scenario for depth, if you're really hurting at the position, you need to start him. You can consider it. And in the playoffs, he gets the Giants, Eagles, and Cowboys.
Yeah, it's not a bad schedule. He's been one of my favorite guys to pick up over these last couple of weeks. Are you believing Chimere Dike for the Titans? Are you believing that you should pick him up? I wrote him up because, again, it's tough to find wide receivers on the waiver wire. That's just something that we all know. This waiver wire season this whole year has been pretty bad, to be honest with you. Calvin Ridley's out for the season. Chimere Dike kind of locked into this role for Tennessee. He had a 90% route participation rate, 19% target share, and 15.4 points, 67 utilization score. I think, with Alec Eilmanor as well being a little bit banged up, he's someone that I don't mind actually giving some attention to here, Adam. It's not a great offense. We haven't seen much from Cam Ward this season, but he could be the team's wide receiver 1 the rest of the way. And so for us, when we look at my rankings, he's a mid-range wide receiver 4, not necessarily someone that you're starting week in and week out, but could be good depth on your bench.
I have him in a league, and if I would have started him this past week, I would have won. No. I didn't, and I lost, so I wish I would have played him. But yeah, I do think you should add him. There's opportunity there. Yes, it's bumpy with this Titans offense, but he's explosive. Also had a special teams touchdown as well. And he's had double-digit fantasy points in 3 of his last 5 games. And Ridley's out for the year. You mentioned Eilmanor sidelined with his hamstring injury. So, yeah, do you really want to trust anyone in the Titans offense? No.
Not really.
We have no buys this week, so you might be in a situation where you don't need to use him this week. But I would definitely have him on my roster.
I've got more names to know. I've got a couple other deep wide receiver sleepers that maybe you could pick up off the waiver wire. Same with a couple running backs. So we're going to give you those names here coming up next. Fantasy Life right here on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio, getting you ready for all things week 13. I laugh at him because I can't believe it's week 13, but here we are talking through waiver wire names to know. My article is live at fantasylife.com. Just a couple of others that I wanted to make sure that we hit because we had a couple off the top here. You know, Chris Rodriguez Jr., someone running back for the Commanders that you should look at, someone you should pay attention to. Devin Neal for the Saints as well. I don't think across many leagues, Adam. I'll just say it though, because we have a lot of people in a lot of different leagues. But if Kenneth Gainwell is available, if Kyle Monangai is available, those guys immediately go to the very top of the list based on every other player that we've talked about here. Dylan Sampson, though, Quinshon Judkins, I was a little bit nervous about, worried about, because he was going into the blue medical tent. He was coming back. He was going back to the blue medical tent. He ended up being able to finish the game. He was being evaluated for a concussion. But when we saw that, we also saw Dylan Sampson have his largest rush share at 27% since week 1. And he shined in the passing game, 29% targets per route run. This is just one of those conversations where if Judkins ever were to miss time, it would be Dylan Sampson stepping up. It looks like Judkins should be good to go for this weekend. But just in case, Adam, we always want to have backups ready.
For sure. I think there was one thing I was holding on to Sampson for a long time, and I had to make a cut, and I cut him recently. That's the worst, but sometimes you have to make those tough decisions. But yes, we know at this time of year, I mean, all year, we see it now in drafts more than ever. Like, so many running backs are drafted in the late rounds. So a lot of these guys are already rostered. But if Sampson is there, so I think you should add Sampson if he is out there.
Yeah, I agree on that one. You know, a name that's been floating around a little bit, Malik Davis for the Cowboys. Are you like, this is 12, this is 14 team, 16 team leagues, but Malik Davis is available. I mean, I checked all of the high stakes leagues that I'm in, and he is definitely available. This is one of those guys though, where if you picked him up, again, this is for the Cowboys. Jaden Blue has been inactive for 3 straight games, and they signed him off the practice squad. So should Javonte Williams miss any time, it would be Davis going for the RB1 duties.
It is kind of funny, right? How we are always talking about handcuffs and backup running backs for every team. And it feels like, I don't know, is there any other team where we don't roster one? Because you are correct. No one has Malik. Like, no one talks about the backup for the Cowboys. We're all assuming, yeah, Javonte Williams, he's fine. He's going to make it through. I mean, they don't use anyone. We did see Malik Davis get a handful of carries this week. He had a nice run on one of them. But yeah, is there like any other team where we're not even like contemplating adding the backup running back?
The Raiders. I mean, I haven't really talked about Raheem.
Yeah, that's true. And Genty did get banged up at the end of the game with an ankle issue.
I was just going to say him, but it's probably those two, because even Miami, we're talking about
Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon's. I have him on rosters.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Even in Miami, we're talking about Ollie Gordon. I can't think of any other.
Even
besides
the Jets.
The Raiders,
Davis is. I have Davis in a couple leagues.
I've got Davis roster. It's just those two, really.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy.
I mean, I guess Indianapolis, because we're not sure who the direct backup is.
That's a good one too.
I mean, DJ Giddens has been inactive a lot. It doesn't mean he wouldn't be the direct backup. I think it probably would be him. In the league I have Taylor, I do have Giddens, but that's also one we're not sure of. But yeah, Dallas is one of the handful of teams where we're like, yeah, we're not rostering the backup running back.
But shout out to Javonte Williams for the year he's had, to be honest. Like this, in the best case scenario, in my wildest dreams, it still would have never looked like what it has for Javonte Williams this year. That's like a credit to him and what he's been able to do.
Yeah, I completely missed on this one. He was free. I should have just taken him. I mean, it was round 9, round 10. It's like the thing was, he just hasn't looked good since that knee injury. And
yeah,
all of a sudden Dallas says, all right, we'll bring you in. You're going to be our guy. And he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's slowed down a little bit because he hasn't scored a touchdown.
Last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's gone 3 straight games without a touchdown. But the pick, you didn't have to invest much, and that's why I regret it looking back. I'm like, it's the 9th, 10th round. Like, if it didn't work out, it wasn't going to crush your team. And if it did work out, I mean, this was probably the highest outcome, right? The highest possible outcome. The ceiling is what we're getting now. But it was worth taking a shot. And I just didn't think he would keep the job or look this good. that was basically based on what we've seen the last couple of years in Denver. And
Oh yeah.
I mean, Denver let him go, and they had him. They know him better than anyone. But I guess sometimes this happens. Another year of being healthy, and he's been a workhorse back.
Yeah, since they're by a little bit down, but that's okay. 10.3 fantasy points, 12.1. You hope down the stretch. They've got Minnesota week 15, the Chargers week 16. They finish at Washington for our playoffs week 17. So, yeah, Javonte, I'm with you. He was free. Why I was taking more Jaden Blue than him, I just shake my head at that because, again, we've talked about rookies before. Sometimes you just get a little bit too enamored. I get too enamored sometimes, and I just say to myself, well, they picked him. But it's not even like they spent an expensive pick on Jaden Blue. I mean, he was late, so should have kind of followed the breadcrumbs there and known that Javonte Williams was going to get the bulk of the workload here. But that's why we learn, Adam, and so we learn every single day. FantasyLife.com. That's where you can go and check out my waiver wire article. Make sure to stick around. We're answering all your questions, going through news and notes you need to know. Water cooler is coming up next. It's about that time for the Fantasy Life Water Cooler right here, Fantasy Life on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. The call-in number, if you've got questions for us heading into week 13, 888-963-2682, or press that new call-in button on the Sirius XM app. You can also find us at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. Any questions that you have looking ahead to the playoffs, looking ahead to just this week, whatever you got for us, at Valenzuela17, at Adam Ronis over there on X is where you want to go. And of course, fantasylife.com. You can sign up for that newsletter 100% free. All of our articles are also 100% free. You've got Adam's articles up there. You've got mine, Dwain McFarland's utilization report. Make sure you go and check those out, and make sure you just get ready for the playoff push, Adam, because it's 2 weeks away. Adam just told me that I'm out of it for GST right now, so I have to keep winning and getting points, whatever it is. I don't know, but I'm going to make it. Don't worry. I'm going to be there.
There's still 2 weeks to go. I mean, it is a battle in that league for sure. It's really tough. Close. So, yeah, these are 2 important weeks. I mean, the one good thing about this week is we have no bye weeks, right? So you don't have to deal with that. But week 14, there are 4 teams on bye. Yeah.
To be honest with you, like I know you'll hear the Carolina Panthers, but if you've got Rico Dowdle, that's one that you look at and you say, yikes. And McMillan. The Patriots, I mean, we've got a good handful, especially Drake May, if he's been your quarterback. Without him, week 14, you got the Giants, which, again, Wandale has put up some fantasy points for you recently, Tyrone Tracy as well. And then the 49ers, like, that stinks because George Kittle's really been coming up. You're going to have a week without CMC. It's sneaky. It's a sneaky tough bye week in week 14.
Yeah, and that's a week that for some leagues, I know FFPC, that's a playoff week. And then in most of our leagues, that's people battling for a playoff spot. So you need big weeks. I mean, there's a chance there's a team out there where like Drake May, CMC, and like a Kittle. That's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's not as bad as 2024. I just remember talking through those. 2024 was brutal with the bye weeks. We had 6 teams on a bye in week 14. It was the Ravens, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Patriots, Commanders. Wow, the Patriots back-to-back week 14 buys.
Yeah, they need to get rid of the week 14 buys.
It's so awful. But I understand, well, because they can't do it for week 13. Everyone plays. Everyone always plays on week 13.
There's definitely a way to figure it out to make this. There was 2 weeks this year there were 2 teams on bye. So all you got to do is take those 2 teams, make it a 4, and that's it. We're good to go.
Oh my gosh, week 12 last year too. 2, 4. It was 12 teams on a bye in the span of 2 weeks.
That was the one thing. I think this year there was only 1 week with 6 on bye, right?
Yeah.
Or was there right? So it was only 1.
No, it was just 1. So it wasn't that bad this year.
So it's improved, but yeah, they have to get rid of the week 14 bye. I mean,
it was week 8 for 6 teams.
They should know. Again, they shouldn't do it, obviously, just for fantasy football, but come on. They know fantasy football draws a lot of people watching. It's the absolute truth. No one can dispute it. Sure. There are games that no one would watch if it wasn't for fantasy football and gambling. It's the absolute truth. You cannot dispute that. You just can't.
No. Carolina Panthers, we're looking at you. Or taking them in survivor
Or even,
leagues.
okay, the Rams-Buccaneers game, okay? It was a blowout. Who was watching the remainder of the game? People who had fantasy players and people who bet on the game. So you can't dispute it.
No, I agree with you 100%. So Listen, if you this is thinking ahead, but now, Adam, you need to be in that mindset. 2 weeks ahead for the fantasy playoffs, 1 week ahead for week 14. If you've got Carolina Panthers players, Patriots, Giants, 49ers, that's week 14 this year. All 4 of those teams are on a bye. So that's why the waiver wire is so important too. Pick some guys up that you just don't have to worry about. Be a week early and see what you can get there, because it is just going to be a push week 14. And then we're into the fantasy football playoffs, hopefully for all of you listening. But that's just why you want to be a little bit ahead. Again, my article is live at fantasylife.com, so you can go and check it out. We've got injury updates. Let's start at least with the good news for Baker Mayfield. The MRI revealed that it's a low-grade sprain. So he has a low-grade AC joint sprain in his left shoulder. No additional damage. That was per Jeremy Fowler yesterday. That's better news than what we could have been expecting here, Adam. He did not sustain a more serious injury. Obviously, his status, though, for this weekend is up in the air. This weekend, they play the Arizona Cardinals. But again, not a long-term injury. But if we don't get Baker Mayfield this weekend, you know that you're going to have to downgrade this offense as a whole, which is really, again, disappointing for the run that you're trying to make here. But again, Baker Mayfield, not long-term, but his status for this weekend is a question. And then they would get Teddy Bridgewater if he wasn't good to go.
Yeah, that would not be good.
I know. I have a bad feeling that it might be Teddy.
Do you think so?
He looked like he was in a lot of pain in that game.
He is a tough guy. Tends to play through those
Is.
things. The one thing, his play has definitely gone down too.
Yeah.
The last several games. I mean, he's had 4 of the last 5 games, 1 touchdown pass or fewer. He's been held to less than 200 yards in 3 of the last 5. And you could say, well, I mean, even in this past week's game, I don't know if he would have gotten to 200. He had 41 yards in the first half, and I don't think it was getting better with the way the Rams were playing. So I think some of the injuries have finally started to catch up to the Tampa Bay offense. I don't think Baker Mayfield was someone you were necessarily getting in your lineup anyway the last few weeks. I know everyone the consensus had him outside the top 12 on Fantasy Life this past week.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Well, I mean, he's had tough matchups recently.
Their stretch is nice, though. That's what's more disappointing. Arizona for week 13 at home. They've got these next 3 games at home. So they're at home against Arizona, New Orleans, and Atlanta. Atlanta starts week 15 for the playoffs, and then they're at Carolina, at Miami. You really want Baker Mayfield in there because he could tear those teams up.
Yeah, you're going to have to hope that he can fight through the pain. At least it's not his throwing shoulder. But, the problem is if he takes a hit and lands on that shoulder, that's where it could be a problem.
Well, even when he was gearing up for that, he was trying to hit that long ball, and he just completely went down. That's when they took him out after that. So we'll see what he looks like throughout practice this week. If you have him, like Adam said, you might not have been starting him, but just make sure you have a backup quarterback just in case he's not good to go this weekend. Your backup quarterback might not be able to be J.J. McCarthy, though, Adam, because he is in...
Come on.
Listen, he's in the concussion protocol. Now, I went back to look. He did take a hard hit, and I could see them, putting him into the concussion protocol. So me, I'm always going to believe the team. But a lot of people
fall for everything.
I know. A lot of people are looking at this saying, well, JJ McCarthy is... Stop. It was a calzone. JJ McCarthy's, that maybe they might say JJ McCarthy was just that bad. But he is in the concussion protocol. He had concussion symptoms on the flight home after their loss against Green Bay. They would go to Brosmer at this point. Max Brosmer might be their QB1 in week 13. McCarthy, 12 of 19 for 87 yards, 2 interceptions against the Packers. And he's thrown at least 1 interception in all 6 starts. We've talked about him with Justin Jefferson, how much we've had to downgrade Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison put up double zeros for you last week. I feel like it would just be, if Max Brosmer goes in there, how much do you downgrade everyone? Or do you kind of keep them where they are?
Can it get any worse? I mean, no, it really can't. I mean, McCarthy has just been brutal. If he is your backup quarterback, why? Should have moved on. Even in super flex leagues, I don't know how you were starting this guy. So, yeah, it is brutal for the Minnesota offense right now. Justin Jefferson, people that have him are absolutely frustrated. But again, it can't be. I don't think it can be worse. But they are They're in Seattle though this week.
Yeah, that's a tough
Yeah,
place to play.
It's a tough problem this week for Minnesota, but I think the only player that you were even thinking about playing was Justin Jefferson at this point, right?
I've got a couple where I have to play Aaron Jones. I don't love it, but he's probably on the board, like right on the line of being startable for most people.
What's
But
going
it's
to
only
be
those two.
if he goes in there and plays well? Damn, McCarthy is just going to get the heat because, as we've seen, almost every quarterback under O'Connell in this system has produced solid, and McCarthy has struggled mightily. It's been really bad for him.
It's been awful. And that's why I say if we get Max Brosmer in here, I don't necessarily think I'm going to be putting anyone down further in my rankings. It's probably a lateral move at this point. Or that's how I'll look at it because like you said, it's just been so bad with McCarthy. They can't string anything together. He looks like he is just not being able his footwork is awful. We haven't seen growth. And I think that's the more challenging part here, Adam, is that if we've seen a little bit of growth week in and week out, you say to yourself, okay, well, obviously they're going to give him a chance the rest of the way, but they're going to be in a really tough spot come the off season if really we don't see anything change with him. And I don't know if we're expecting anything to change, but it's been bad letting Sam Darnold walk. This is an organization that we say Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer. He really puts up good schemes and everything else for these quarterbacks, and it hasn't happened this year. Or he's tried it, and it's JJ McCarthy just might not be it. I don't know. I hate saying that, though, for someone who's so young. He lost his whole rookie season. I don't want to write him off just yet, but
yeah, the
bad.
early returns are bad. And the other thing that we forget, they also had Daniel Jones in the building last year.
Yeah. It's bad. I'm trying to find
I wonder
nice
if you
things to say. It's bad.
if you gave O'Connell some truth serum and said, "Hey, do you want Sam Darnold back? Did you make a mistake?" What his answer would be?
It would probably be yes.
Yeah.
Which we don't usually see from O'Connell, and I think that's the other part because I was higher on JJ McCarthy just because of all of the things that led to him being QB, right? Letting Sam Darnold walk, even though I know the lights were bright and he totally crumbled in the playoffs, but letting him walk, Daniel Jones obviously let go to the Indianapolis Colts. So you say to yourself, okay, well, obviously there's things that they know that they've seen that has put so much of their trust into JJ McCarthy. And yeah, it hasn't come true yet. Again, it's early in his career, but yeah, I don't know if he improves drastically over the next couple of weeks. Either way, if we get Brosmer, it's really just going to be a lateral move. We don't know much about him. You don't necessarily want to pick him up. But yeah, for Justin Jefferson, you're not starting Jordan Addison. Hopefully, you just keep him the same. Looks like we will get Shedeur Sanders though. That's the other update here. Dylan Gabriel did clear the concussion protocol, but Shedeur Sanders has been named the starter going up against the 49ers, who again, we just talked about their defense and how they have holes. And so we didn't necessarily see Bryce Young step up because of that, but this could be another one for Shedeur Sanders where he gets the job done. So we'll see. Again, this is another team, Adam. Are you starting Jerry Jeudy? Do you have to start him? Are you starting? I guess the other two would be David Njoku, Harold Fannin Jr., and then obviously Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, Judkins, you're starting. Again, his yards per carry have been going down every single week. He was saved by the touchdowns. Fannin, I could see potentially. But again, we have no buys this week. So this should be a week where you don't have to really dip into that offense. And I wouldn't want to.
David Njoku's utilization score also. I mean, if you have him, I'd be looking elsewhere because it is plummeted since week 8. He's a part-time tight end, 52% route participation rate, and he's playing behind Harold Fannin Jr. So he is a low-end tight end too for me. So if you have been hanging on to him for whatever reason, just try and look somewhere else to start streaming guys, or pick up Darren Waller, even though that's not the best name in the world. Adam,
Brenton Strange could be out there.
Yeah, Brenton Strange. I don't hate Juwan Johnson either. We've mentioned him before. There are other guys that you can pick up that's going to be better down the stretch, it feels like, than David Njoku. Just rapid fire here. It looks like Jaden Daniels, for whatever reason, Adam, is returning to practice this week. He's not going to play Sunday. I'm shocked and confused by that, but whatever they want to do. CJ Stroud remains in concussion protocol. They said, D'Amico Ryan said that he will start once he is cleared. And then it looks like Bucky Irving is on track to return this week. So they're going up again against the Cardinals. Is he someone you start right away? If we say Bucky Irving's back, he's ready to go, you immediately put him in all your lineups, shapes, and sizes?
I'm leaning yes, although I do think initially you will see Tucker and White still involved, but I would likely play him unless they say, like, oh, he's clearly limited. He's going to play 30% of the snaps. They're not going to do that. But yeah, I only have him in one league, so I'm going to put him back in there. But there might be scenarios where you've been getting by and you have better options than the more shallow formats. But for the most part, I think you're getting him back in there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much of him. I really only have him in one league, and it's been brutal. That one's kind of done for the year, but we still try. That's the other part. At Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis over there on X. I see a couple questions coming in, and we appreciate that so much. So make sure you send those in at Valenzuela 17, at Adam Ronis. One earlier today, would you trade Egbuka for either Judkins or RJ Harvey? I have Rashee Rice and Jamar Chase at wide receiver. Only have Cook, Benson, and Tucker at running back. You start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Worried about Egbuka. Would you trade Egbuka for either Judkins or RJ Harvey? Oof.
I mean, you look, Egbuka has really struggled. The numbers have really gone down. I would still need to know the other receivers because you only gave us 2 receivers, so there might not be receiver depth. But I mean, I'm okay. Again, with Judkins, the usage has been there, but like he's not involved in the passing game. And this was a rare game this week where the game script was favorable because they played from ahead. But how many games they're not going to play from ahead this week against San Francisco?
No.
I know the total's low. It's 38.5. So that's the problem with Judkins is, okay, he scored the 2 touchdowns this week. He had 47 rushing yards on 16 carries. And we've seen the other weeks when he doesn't score. The week before, 17 for 59, 5.9. Game against New England, 9 for 19 on the ground. He did have 3 catches in that game for -2 yards. So the problem is if he doesn't score a touchdown, you're not getting a lot of points. Where Egbuka, even with his struggles, he's given you what Judkins gets with no touchdowns. So
yeah,
you have to hope Benson returns, and maybe it's possible this week. M. Knight did get hurt late in the game too.
Yeah,
so that's something to keep an eye on. So I don't know. I kind of lean no, but I would want to hear what the other receivers are. Like, yeah, you're good with your 2 starting, but you mentioned you have a flex.
Yeah, who's on your bench?
So who are the other receivers? Like, so I would need more information, but I'd lean no. Like Harvey. I do think Harvey could finish strong. We did see McLaughlin take that goal line work away in the first one. They had the bye week. You know, Harvey could be a guy that finishes really strong, but if they're just not going to give him any goal line work, that could be a problem. But I think he'll be heavily involved in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, he gave us 8 points. That was a tough matchup, though, in week 11, because then they went on their bye, but that was against Kansas City. That's at the time, was the 5th hardest matchup to opposing running back room. So he hasn't given you fantasy points yet, but he does upgrade. He did upgrade for me. Mid-range RB2 is kind of where I have RJ Harvey, but I'm with you, Adam, where I want to see the other guys and just hold on to Egbuka. But if you do want to send us in more of who you have on your bench, definitely go ahead and do that. I see one here from Ted saying, thanks for all your help. Got 15 teams into the playoffs. Oh, look at that. Shout out to Ted.
Damn, already clinching.
I
with
love
2 weeks
that.
left.
Yeah, he doesn't play in GST where he told me I won, but now I'm out of the playoff race.
Okay. I didn't say you're out of the playoff race.
I'm kidding.
If the season ended today, which it doesn't, you would be out. That's all I said.
Crazy.
There's 2 weeks to go.
Won. All right.
If you win the next 2 weeks, you're likely in. If you put up big points, you're likely in. But it's that.
I'll do both. How about both?
Okay, I don't play you, so yeah, go ahead. Go win your 2 games.
Perfect. Last one here in the water cooler from Larry. Should I pick up Chimere Dike? Or no, I picked up Chimere Dike, started him. But for this week, should I pick up Higgins from Houston and play him? I also have Harrison and London down right now.
I would pick up Higgins for sure.
Yeah.
His role is growing.
We've talked about Higgins a lot. He's been someone that I've just stubbornly or not, kept on my bench this whole time. He's improved his route participation in each of the last 4 games. It's gone up. It started at 43%, Adam. It's gone up to the most recent game, 68%. Over those last 3 games, though, he also has a 21% target share. Now, the other question that I've gotten asked, Adam, is when CJ Stroud returns, does this go back down? Like, do we think he gets consistent targets like we've seen from Davis Mills? I want to say yes, but I understand the question too. I mean, he's averaging over the last 3 games 12.8 points per game. This is good.
Yeah, I don't think it's the quarterback. I think it's that he's just, we see with rookies, right? Sometimes it's later in the year. It just happened to be a coincidence that as his role has grown, that Mills is the quarterback. It's just he's played more. He's running more routes, as you just illustrated. So that is why. So if he's out there with Stroud, I don't think it's going to be Stroud's not going to look at him. If he's on the field and he's open, Stroud's going to hit him. So no, I just think it's I don't know why, and maybe they were seeing things in practice, but they just took a long time to grow his role. We saw a lot of Xavier Hutchinson most of the year, and it's like you got to get Higgins in there.
Yeah, and a better offense. Not like better offense than the Titans for Chimere and Dike. So I also like that aspect of it. So again, I really like Jaden Higgins. I've been holding on to him for the majority of the year. But right now he is more in the really low end. Like I think he's a low end. No, I would say mid-range wide receiver 3, but he has wide receiver 2 upside in this offense. So he's readily available across a lot of leagues too. So yeah, I would pick up Jaden Higgins instead of Chimere Dike. All right, continuing on, we've got fantasylife.com. That's where you want to go check out all of our articles. But now it is time for the most chopped Guillotine League players. Adam is guessing. I have the list today. We're going to go through the most chopped players here coming up next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Tuesday. It is time for the most chopped Guillotine League players across week 12. I got chopped in 1, Adam. I'm really sad about it, to be totally honest with you. It was a sweat down to last night as well. Went up against, I believe, Tedero McMillan, and that touchdown was the one that did it for me. So that stunk too, because I thought I was going to get away with it because they just weren't connecting at all. But of course, the one touchdown. Absolutely brutal. All right, I've got the list today. We're going to go through the top 5 really most chopped players, but I've got the full list here of 10. And we're going to see, how much we would bid on some of these guys. So you get started out. You got your list? Are you ready to go?
I do.
How do you feel today?
I feel pretty good, but there's always some curves that are involved in these. Sometimes a player seems obvious and they're not in the top 10.
But because at this point in the year, sometimes you just aren't playing sometimes you think someone's elite and you don't have to play them.
Yeah.
All
right. My first
ready
guess.
To go? Here we go.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor.
Correct. Jonathan Taylor actually was the 8th most chopped player.
See,
that was close.
Oh,
wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, sorry. 7th most chopped player. So there you go. You got one. There we go. JT was one of them.
All right. I got to go with Josh Allen.
Yes. Josh Allen was the number 1 most chopped player in Guillotine Leagues for last week. Ugh, brutal. All right. You're third.
Okay.
You've got this. There's some interesting names on here. I will say that.
I want to say this guy's on the list, but I'm not
sure
if he was started enough. All right, I'll say it. Jameson Williams.
Yes, Jameson Williams was started. He was the 2nd most chopped player.
Okay. Yeah, I was a little hesitant on that one, but as I thought about it more, we've been talking about him a lot. I think it's been widespread that Campbell calling plays, more of an emphasis to get him involved in the offense. 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games going up into this week. Actually, 4 of the last 5. He did have that 1-0 in there, but going up against the Giants, I had to think a lot of people at this point were like, okay, I feel good. We can start Jameson Williams now.
And then
I said, just when you think we can start Jameson Williams, he drops a 0 on us like he tends to do. 2 zeros now in the last 5 games.
Yeah, it's not good to say the absolute least. It's not good because Jameson Williams. So the top, you want to
Well,
get through the top
can
five?
I give
Yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
give some
Go
other
ahead. Yeah,
names
yeah,
that I
yeah. Of
think could be on
course.
the list.
Yep.
So you mentioned this guy, and I was hesitant to bring him up. Is Lamar Jackson on the list?
He is. He's
Okay.
8. He's
Okay.
8. Yeah.
I would think Kyron Williams is on the list.
Kyron Williams was 4.
Okay.
Yes. He did nothing for you. But yes, he
Um,
was 4.
damn, is this guy still on the list? Now, there's definitely a guy on the list that didn't play this week or was on bye, correct? Because it happens every week.
Let's see who was on a bye last week. So it was the Broncos, the
Chargers,
Commanders,
Dolphins.
Chargers. Actually,
No?
no.
Okay.
For
How
the top
about
10, no.
what about a suspended player?
No.
Okay.
Huh. No.
Was Jefferson on the list again?
He was right outside. He was number
Okay.
11. He was number 11. Wrong.
No, not wrong. I already won.
Wrong.
I already got my
Yeah, you
first 3.
lost.
And I
No,
got
you
like
lost.
6 after that. So DeAndre Swift.
Yep, he was
Yeah.
on there. He was 6. So the top 10, I'll just go through it. Josh Allen was number 1. Jameson Williams at 2. Stephon Diggs
Okay,
at
he's on my
3.
list. Yeah, he's on my
Kyron
list.
Williams at 4. Nico Collins at
He's
5.
on my list.
DeAndre Swift at 6. Jonathan Taylor at 7.
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson 8. Emeka Egbuka 9.
I have him on
and
the
then
list.
Devon Achane at 10.
Oh, so you lied. I said, was there
What'd you
someone on
say?
bye that
Oh,
was
I'm so sorry. They were on bye. I kind of forgot. 'Cause
okay?
it was
So
the
yeah,
Miami
no.
Dolphins, Commanders.
This
Yeah, that's
week,
my bad.
this week was an easy week. I think I had everyone. I had 2 other names on the list that weren't in there. T. Higgins and Odunze, but obviously I
Yeah,
would guess
T
them
was
towards the bottom.
T was 13 and
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably didn't play Odunze in a
yeah, I
guillotine
don't
league. I
even
could see that.
when I'm scrolling right now, I don't even see
Yeah.
him and I'm at
But yeah, I
I'm way
thought this
down the
was a
list.
pretty clear-cut week.
So to go through the top 5 and what we would pay for these guys. So it would start with 1 Nico Collins. Nico Collins was on a heater entering
Mhm.
this week. He scored 22 or more points in back-to-back games, at least 7 receptions in the last 3. And then that Thursday night win over the Bills, though, they knew exactly what they needed to do. And Collins only caught 3 passes and only 3 targets for 55 yards, 8.5 fantasy points in this one. I don't think we can expect this every single week. It was just one of those game scripts where he just wasn't involved. And that's why we saw a lot more Jaden Higgins in this one. I think he's going to be able to rebound week 13. It's going up against the Colts. And CJ Stroud might be back in this one with a potential return on the field. How much would you pay for Nico Collins?
Well, so that game was Thursday night. They knew everyone was betting on Nico Collins, so they got the call.
That's why.
No,
Okay,
I've been
got it.
betting Nico Collins every week. In that game, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel good about this. So
Okay,
I stayed
all right.
away. Let's see. So the Colts, the Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers. I like Nico Collins. I think I would spend. I mean, he's not like. I would spend 125.
Okay. I was going to say 82. Just because I don't know how
I-
much money people have left, but
Yeah, I just think he has a high floor every week.
I do. Yeah. I mean, you see, like, after he didn't play in San Francisco, what was that? Was that a hamstring? Was that a concussion?
Was it a concussion? I forgot now.
Week 8. But since that game that we didn't see him play, 14 fantasy points, 22, 24, and then the 8.5. So you're right about the ceiling.
Yeah,
He's going to give that to you.
he had one bad game against Seattle where he had 4 for 27.
Yeah.
But yeah, every week. I mean, before the 3 targets against Buffalo, he had 10, 15, 11, 10. So I just think he has a real high floor. And I don't see another game this year where he gets 3 targets.
No, I don't. That would be difficult to say the least. When we're looking at targets, but we haven't seen any except for weeks 4 and 5. That was 6 targets, 5 targets. The rest have been 10 plus between week 7 to right now.
And they're fighting.
excluding week
They're fighting
12.
for a playoff spot, the division
Definitely.
title. They got to get the ball in his hands. I mean, this guy's been great. You got to force
Definitely.
feed him the football.
All right, Kyron Williams was the fourth most chopped player, and we talked about him yesterday as well. It was just, he just he didn't do much for you. Let's just say that. That's why he was on the chopping block, and that's why you might have gotten chopped in Guillotine League format. So for Kyron Williams, again, 5.8 fantasy points in this one. The last 4 weeks with the 5.8, it's 16.6 fantasy points, 22.4, 17.4. That's all after their bye. How much would you spend on Kyron?
So he's been really good most of the year. He's only had 2 games less than double digit in PPR.
Yep.
We have seen Blake Corum involved more. Not enough that we're scared of Kyron Williams. I think the bigger issue is they are just passing so much in the red zone. I said this the other day. It's automatic. When they get to the 1 yard line, that play is going to Devontae Adams. I mean, I don't understand. I would have 7 guys on Devontae Adams when they're at the 1. I would just leave everyone else open because they're not going to throw to them. They're going to just throw to Devontae Adams. So with Kyron, I would actually go a little bit lower, not involved much in the passing game, and kind of touchdown dependent. He's got 6 rushing on the season. He's had 1 100-yard game. I do think the floor is very high because this offense is very good, but I'd go like, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'd go like 100.
Okay. I was going to say
go higher?
7. No, I was going to go low, 70.
You're being cheap now, huh?
Well, yeah, I just, want to make sure my money's going to the right thing. I just wonder if Kyron Williams isn't a negative regression candidate.
Yeah, I could.
15.5 points per game over the last 4 games. Utilization score comps really put him at 14.4. So Dwain McFarland wrote this out too, but 34% of his comps finish as an RB19 to RB24. So that's the only thing I'm looking at. Like maybe we're going to get better guys coming down the stretch.
Well, from a Guillotine League perspective, it's a little different though. You're looking at the floor, and the floor is pretty high every week.
It is.
Right?
They take on Carolina week 13. Yeah, Carolina, Arizona, Detroit for the next 3 weeks. So you're right. Maybe I'd bump that up to 85.
Yeah, I mean, in a seasonal league, I get that. I see that more from a seasonal league. Like the ceiling is just really not there right now. The receptions are low, and again, they're. I mean, the positive for Kyron Williams going into the year was the workload, right? Like he had a massive workload last year. They've scaled back on that. Like
for sure,
he has 13 touches in each of the last 2 weeks, 16. Like. He had 25 carries in week 9. We just haven't really seen that. I don't remember if Blake Corum was out that week. It might have been. I don't remember. But yeah, we're not seeing the massive workload. They don't need to do it. Number one, the passing game has just been so good. Stafford's rolling. And they have mixed in Blake Corum more. There have been games where Blake Corum has been getting double-digit carries.
But you're right. The floor is good. The floor is good for Guillotine Leagues, and that's what you want when you're bidding on some of these guys. Stefon Diggs was the 3rd most chopped player. So Stefon Diggs, when you look at, it was very different from week 11 to week 12, right? He had the season high 89% route participation rate in week 11. It was a part-time role though in week 12. He only hit 54% this past Sunday. So, and that was a season low as well, which I don't know what they're trying to do there, Adam, because I thought that he was coming on. It was the injury thing. And now I thought that he was going fully into a full-time role. And then you see it like scaled back like this in week 12. And I say to myself, okay, well, it's not an injury because they said he's fine. So how much are you going to pay here? Because I'm confused. They're unpredictable at this point with this offense.
That is the exact word with Diggs. It's unpredictable because the snap counts were going up and then the routes run are all over the place. It was a competitive game. It's not like they ran away with it. He played 48% of the snaps. Mac Hollins was 86%. So I think because the floor is low on a given week, they do tend to spread the ball out in this offense. I'm only going to go like $30. I just think there could be another game where he has 3 for 30 and can get you eliminated. So he only has 3 touchdowns on the year. You go look, there's just some weeks where the floor is too low. So I'm not going to spend much here.
Yeah, I was going to do like $28 as well, just because they play the Giants. And then, like I said before, the Patriots go into their bye week 14. So you won't even be able to use him. Mm-hmm. So be careful if you're bidding on Stefon Diggs. The second most chopped player was Jameson Williams and then Josh Allen. I'll lump these two together. Jameson Williams, Josh Allen, 2 and 1. How much would you pay for either of these guys?
Look, you can't spend a lot on J-Mo. It's 2 zeros in the last 5 weeks. that is just death in a guillotine league. So $20 to $30. Josh Allen, obviously, I don't like spending a lot on quarterbacks, but we know what Josh Allen can do, although this offense has been shaky at times. So if you really need a quarterback, I think you can spend. I think what you do is you look at what everyone else has left, who needs a quarterback, and that's how I determine my bid. So it could be anywhere from 20 to 50. I probably wouldn't go that high, but
unless you need them,
they
which I
got the
don't think you should, but
Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Browns, so solid.
there we go. Most chopped guillotine league players and how much we would bid. Make sure you're checking those out. fantasylife.com to go and see just our rankings for guillotine league formats. I'm still alive and I got four left, Adam. So I'm in a good spot. This is the farthest I've gone since playing guillotine leagues though.
That's
so
pretty
I'm pretty
good.
excited about it. So again, it's a fun segment. We'll make sure that you guys check out all of the rankings over there at fantasylife.com. We're going to continue on. I've got some more players. Speaking of high highs and low lows, we're going to go through winners and losers from week 12, as well as some of the running backs that stepped up. And if we think that that can continue, we're going to break that down here coming up next. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have Xfinity. All the games all in one place. Here's what you get when you watch sports with Xfinity. The Sports Zone, every pro football game and over 1,000 college games. You get the highlights, you get all the alerts. Those are all in one place for you to make it easy. You get the multi-view, so that means you can be in up to 4 stadiums at once. You also get the Xfinity Fan View, so that means live scores, odds, and stats all in one place, personalized to you and the teams that you love to look at. Enhanced 4K, you get the Xfinity Enhanced 4K Simply Stunning, and you also get that voice remote where you can just say football. Imagine all your football all in one place, easy. Learn more at xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. This is Fantasy Life. What a song. Ready to run through a brick wall, Adam? You tired? What are we doing?
Am I tired?
Get pumped. Get pumped.
Yeah, it's not noon yet, so yeah, I'm usually tired.
You got
We're like complete opposites. You are a morning person.
It's kind of hilarious
owl.
how completely opposite we are. And just like, and I'm optimistic. You're like, this guy's out. And I'm like, no, he could be good. You're like, no. Yeah, we're complete opposites.
He tore his ACL. His hamstring is like in shambles. And you're like, yeah, there's a chance he could play.
I just like to stay positive over here. But we're complete opposite sleep schedules. I'm going to bed. I'm a little, if people didn't know, I'm a little bit sick. I'm sure everyone can tell. But last night, little 7:30, fantastic.
Yeah.
The last time you went to bed at 7:30, you were like 10.
No, I was 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
An infant. It's you need help. That's all I'll say.
That's why I don't mind like the East Coast with the games on late. Like last night,
because that works for you.
The last game was Kings Timberwolves in overtime. I'm sitting there watching the game, loving it.
Yeah. See, that's why you can live on the. I could.
You were already asleep for 6 hours while that game was in overtime.
You, I lived in Cincinnati for a year, and doing those games, awful.
I
so
look
tired.
The West Coast thing. I visited my sister in Colorado like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now. And everything is done by 10 p.m. And I'm like, what do I do now? Like all the sports are done. No, I couldn't.
You go to bed. Oh
I don't know. It's very weird. I don't know if I could adjust to that. And there were 3 years in a row I was out for week 1 in Vegas for NFL Sunday and doing the answering questions at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I was like, this is brutal.
You're done with it?
Yeah, I didn't
See the
breakfast.
I didn't like it. I love the you wake up on Sunday mornings. I do a couple shows for LG TV and then kick off at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Nah, I don't like it.
Like brunch, breakfast.
I like the 1 p.m. Maybe I just got so used to it. I couldn't. I don't think I could adjust going out to West Coast with sports.
I definitely couldn't do that. I'd be asleep. I'd be taking naps in between.
Yeah, you would never see any West Coast basketball, baseball.
No.
You would never watch the Mariners if you moved out east.
I know. That's why I can't do it. I won't do it. You won't find me over there. I'd be too tired. Let's just say that. I wanted to talk through some of the running backs because a lot of the big questions that we had coming into week 12 for last week was, hey, what are these backup running backs, these RB2s going to do if they get their moment to shine? I want to know for you if Kyle Monangai is someone that's taking over a little bit. We talked about this with Dwain McFarland earlier in the show. He rushed 12 times for 48 yards and a touchdown. And so in this game, he played more on early downs and at the goal line. DeAndre Swift remained the primary receiving back, but if you've been hanging on to Kyle Monangai, do you think we're going to see a shift, or do you think this is just a 1 week outlier and we're going to go back to a full DeAndre Swift RB1 workload?
Yeah, I'm assuming they were penalizing Swift for that fumble in the second quarter because that's where it changed. Look, Monangai has been solid. They have been using him more. Swift's been very good too. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure this out because I do have Monangai in a couple leagues. I did not play him.
Me too.
I did not play him the last couple of weeks. And again, we have no buys this week, so you should have your full complement of the players that you need. You don't have to navigate through the bye weeks. We do have maybe some injuries to look at. And the challenging part, too, is the 3 games on Thanksgiving, and the Bears play Friday against Philadelphia. So you're going to have to make this decision with Monangai and Swift, by Friday. So I'm still unsure right now. I probably would still have Swift a little bit higher this week, but I think the gap has closed. Look, they were already showing they want to be a run-heavy football team, and they were going to utilize both. But it's very risky to just say, all right, this is Monangai's role going forward because – well, he had 12 carries this past week. He had 12 the week before. Did score a touchdown. He scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. Yeah. But look at the yards, though. Like 48, 23, 28.
Yeah, it's not there. This is the closest I think we've seen to this backfield looking like the Detroit Lions when we were talking about Ben Johnson's backfield, right? Because you had Monangai as the David Montgomery kind of role, and then you had Swift as his old role in Johnson's offense. So I'm with you. And let me just say this. If you're thinking about it, the Bears' schedule is difficult from here. We don't see easy matchups where we just say, yeah, both of them are startable. I mean, 4 of their final 5 games during the fantasy season are against teams that are probably going to make the playoffs in the NFC. It's tough. And then the Cleveland Browns have a really good run defense. So I think you have to be careful. I'm really curious to see, if Kyle Monangai really is the guy that's taking over, or like you said, it was penalizing DeAndre Swift because of the fumble. But that's going to be a big question moving forward. I've got more questions for you than I want to go through some of these other RB2s, what we can expect the rest of the way, and then final waiver wire names to know as well, coming up here next. This is Fantasy Life right here. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning, mid-afternoon. I'm hungry, Adam. What are you getting for lunch? Oh, wait. You know what I had 2 nights ago?
What?
Broccoli cheddar soup.
Oh, I didn't have broccoli cheddar, but I had broccoli soup yesterday. Man, I could eat a bucket of that thing. Just give me like a huge bucket. I could eat that.
So good. Yeah. I went to Panera because that's like the closest thing with
soup.
Theirs
is
honestly,
good.
They do a good job.
They don't give you enough though.
Okay, I thought the same. So I asked for the large bowl or whatever, and I got it to go. And I was looking at it, and I said, "Wait, is this it?"
Yeah.
But then I was thinking of getting, because they also come in a bread bowl. But I said it's probably the same amount of soup, but just in the bread.
Yeah, I never tried that one. You're probably correct, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, I feel like they don't give you enough.
I am so glad you said that because I felt like I was like, maybe I'm just being selfish here, but it felt like not enough. And I was, okay, good. I'm glad that you said that. Anyways, where do we go from here? Waiver wire names to know. So Jaylen Warren, are you worried at all about Jaylen Warren going forward? Because we've talked about Kenneth Gainwell, and if you did start Kenneth Gainwell this week, you were obviously happy with the returns because he was able to come in and still get you another great game. He ran 10 times, 92 yards, caught 6 passes for 30 yards as well. Warren was still there, right? Warren ran the ball 18 times.
Yeah, he did. That's what I'm saying.
68 yards and a touchdown. So do you think they're splitting going forward, or are you downgrading a little bit for Jaylen Warren because of the split over the last 2 games?
So yeah, the snaps look similar, but if you look at the touches, Warren was slightly ahead. They obviously are a run-heavy team. I don't know if the injury was a factor because we were starting to feel really confident about Warren when we looked at the usage. We're like, okay, he's taking over. We've seen more Gainwell now. So Gainwell, 55 of his yards came on a fake tush push, right? Where we saw
cool.
Mark Andrews do it 2 weeks ago. So I guess now that's going to be something that people are looking at. So he got 55 yards on that, and he was involved in the passing game. The concerning part for Warren was just the lack of involvement in the passing game.
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't have any targets.
No, Gainwell was leading
but
the way
was that because Mason Rudolph was the quarterback? because we know Rodgers likes Warren in the passing game. He spoke about it. So
Yeah.
I thought that might have been a factor. So I'm not worried about Warren, but I don't feel
Okay.
as good about him as I did 2 weeks ago when I'm like, okay, it's definitely him. Gainwell, we got to be fair. Gainwell's been solid when he's gotten the opportunity.
He's looked good.
Yeah.
And that's the other part. And like you said, we know Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback really likes to go to the guys that he trusts. And so we know that Jalen Warren's in there. But if he starts trusting Kenneth Gainwell too, like a split backfield to end the season, that would be brutal.
Yeah, on an
Especially
offense
with Warren's been giving
that doesn't score a lot either and is very slow
Exactly.
paced. Gainwell does have 14 targets over the last 2 games, so he did have. That was against Cincinnati though, so I don't know how much we count that game because everyone does that against them, and that was with Rudolph came in that game.
He did. Yeah.
Oh, so I wonder what the split was in that game. How many targets came from Rudolph for Gainwell in that game? That's interesting.
I'm not going to push back on people that say, I want to start Kenneth Gainwell this week again. After the 2 weeks that we've seen, I kind of understand it. Like, it's worth considering keeping him in your fantasy lineups. Gainwell, that is.
It's possible. Again, no bye week, so that makes it maybe a little bit more challenging. But yeah, I mean, he's been getting double-digit touches and again, heavily involved in the pass game. Remember, they have no receivers.
Exactly.
So they can throw to the back. They throw to the backs and the tight ends.
Exactly. So yeah, something I'm really gonna look at going into this weekend. Kenneth Gainwell, if he's out there and available, Kyle Monangai, those are the two at the top. But for waiver wire names to know, it's really Devin, Neal, Chris Rodriguez, Dylan Sampson. I would put at the top of the list. Same
Yeah,
with
Brenton Strange, if you're looking
Yeah,
at tight
Brenton
end.
Strange.
Even Darren Waller, he could make his return. He was good. If you're looking for some tight end help.
Yeah, Brenton Strange had 14.3 fantasy points, 81 utilization score. If you're looking at wide receivers, Luther Burden is one, Chimere, Dike, Jaden Reed is coming back as well, and Jaden Higgins at the very top of that list. You can find my waiver wire names to know at fantasylife.com 100% free. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We'll be back same time here tomorrow.